Pyotr always had hands of steel, just like his father and his ever-so-inquisitive grandfather. All the men in the Ivanov family possessed this legendary strength, which made them famous throughout the village. Of course, some whispered that this strength was more myth than muscle. But who can blame people for wanting to believe in a little magic? At the age of 18, Pyotr landed a job at the collective farm, helping to restrain the most headstrong cows during milking, which was at least safer than his cousin doing tricks at the local circus, and less tiring than his nephew. Well, never mind. The older women just chuckled, observing these supposed talents. But the younger girls were curious, naive, and utterly charmed. People debated the secret of the Ivanov family's strength and agility. Some suspected special exercises, others a unique genetic heritage. Still others whispered of a secret diet of borscht and raw garlic, but no one knew the real source of their unique abilities. It all came down to the road in front of their family home. It sat at the end of a long, rutted dirt track that transformed into a giant puddle every spring. Children splashed happily in its depths, piglets wallowed with abandon, and grandfather caught hares with his bare hands. To reach their house, this watery obstacle had to be crossed. The Ivanovs owned a beloved Zhiguli, which they had driven across the length and breadth of the Soviet Union. Every year when the snow melted and the road turned to a mire, the men would hoist their prized Zhiguli and carefully carry it, step by painstaking step, through the floodwaters to protect its fragile frame from the insidious rust. The new Lada isn't afraid of mud, but some family traditions are simply too precious to break.
So when I think about a Lada, I'm thinking straight up raw power. That's why we went with the story of the Ivanov family and their legendary steel. The real challenge was capturing the perfect mix of that deep-rooted country life, family tradition, and a machine that's seen generations of Russian roads. So we knew we had to bring this metaphor to life in the real heart of rural Russia. That's why we packed up and headed to this little village, Glukovka Zalivnaya, where every porch, every wonky fence, and every old birch tree could tell you a story. We had some real challenges while filming, handling the cows, ducks, rabbits, and pigs. That took some serious prep work, but the team nailed it. We even brought in a whole crew of animal wranglers from the circus, and a pet psychologist too. And get this, a masseuse. When Mother Nature decided to throw a wrench in our plans, we had to take matters into our own hands. Or more accurately, the excavator's bucket. See, the village we picked had this spot where we were planning this epic mud puddle scene, right? But the weather was bone dry, hotter than hell, so we had to call in the heavy machinery, dig a hole. Then we got a water tanker, filled it up from a nearby pond, where of course we had to climb in with buckets because the damn pump wouldn't work. Classic, right? But the real test, not just for the team, but for the gear, which was stubbornly refusing to cooperate in those hellish or more like freezing conditions, was shooting in Nizhnevartovsk at minus 38 degrees Celsius. The cameras were freezing up faster than we start filming. The car, which was supposed to be cruising smoothly down a snow-covered road, was actually getting stuck up to its bumper every 5 minutes, and the whole crew turned into a rescue team. The locals, they were looking at us with pity, not for us, but for the equipment. They were really feeling sorry for that little Zhigulinok. Shooting this scene where the guys are carrying the Zhiguli turned out to be just as tough as the actual carrying itself. First off, we had to rig up these invisible to the eye harnesses on the men. Secondly, the crew had to go full throttle with equipment. The camera guy with his Steadicam barely managing to backpedal fast enough, but finally he managed to get the best shot. Looking back at those 6 weeks of shooting, seeing that 120-person crew working in absolute harmony in those tough locations, capturing the people and their car with cutting-edge equipment, that's when I realized this is what filmmaking is all about. Always pushing the boundaries, always going beyond what's possible. Bringing together humor, drama, and the perfect plot twist.